Hey everyone, today we're diving into a mental model that might just radically reduce your stress. And believe it or not, it all comes down to two simple but incredibly powerful words. Let them.
You know that feeling, right? That bone-deep exhaustion? Like when you find yourself trying to micromanage every little detail of a project because you're just convinced it will completely fall apart without you. That feeling? That's the price we pay for trying to control things we simply can't.
Or how about this one? Your friend is dating someone who is just so clearly wrong for them. You see all the red flags. You spend hours on the phone trying to make them see what you see, but it's like talking to a brick wall. And all that worry, it just sits there and eats away at you.
Or maybe it's your partner. They're thinking about this huge career change that to you feels incredibly risky. Your immediate gut reaction is to jump in, right? To poke holes in their logic, to try and steer them back to the quote-unquote safe path. You're basically dumping all of your own fears right onto their decision.
And of course, the classic. You're planning an event. You are obsessing over every single detail, trying to predict every possible problem, manage every single person's expectations, all to guarantee a perfect outcome. And what happens? You end up so stressed and anxious you can't even enjoy the moment yourself.
All of this struggle reminds me of this really powerful analogy. Picture yourself in a boat on a river. Trying to control everything and everyone, that's like paddling furiously upstream, against the current. It's exhausting, it's frustrating, and you know what? It's an unwinnable fight. But what happens if you just drop the oars? You just let go. The boat turns around and you start floating peacefully downstream. That feeling of ease, of surrender, that's exactly what we're talking about.
So, how do we drop the oars? How do we find that kind of peace in our own lives? Well, it all starts with a simple but really profound shift in our thinking, a mindset that holds the key to finally letting go.
And that brings us to the let them theory. And honestly, it's pretty much what it sounds like. It's making a conscious choice to stop fighting. It's about releasing that death grip you have on trying to manage how other people act, what they believe, or how a situation is supposed to unfold. It's all about intentional detachment.
This right here, this is the heart of it. Let them judge you. Let them get it wrong. Let them misunderstand your intentions. Look, this isn't about being passive or just giving up. It's the complete opposite. It's about reclaiming your power by choosing where you invest your precious energy. You're not giving up. You're letting go.
Okay, so this all sounds really great in theory, doesn't it? But how do we actually, do it? Let's break down 3 really practical ways you can start applying this mindset like today. First up, you've got to detach from the outcome. So picture this. It's your son's prom night. It is pouring rain, a total downpour, and he and his 20 friends, all dressed to the nines, have 0 dinner reservations. Their brilliant plan? To just show up at a tiny taco joint that barely seats 6 people. Now, the controlling part of your brain is probably screaming, "No way! Their tuxes will get ruined. It's not special enough." But then you take a breath and you just say, let them, because it's their prom, not yours. By letting go of your idea of a perfect night, you give them the space to have their own messy, unique, and probably unforgettable experience.
Second, and this one can be really tough, you have to let people face their own consequences. Think about it. If your kid constantly forgets their lunch and you always come to the rescue, they never learn to be responsible for themselves. If your friend is just awful with money and you're always bailing them out, they never learn financial discipline. See, every single time you rescue someone, you're actually robbing them of a chance to learn and grow. It feels hard, I know, but sometimes the most loving thing you can possibly do is step back.
And number 3, and oh boy, this is a big one, let them be themselves. I mean, how often are we in a relationship not with the person who's actually in front of us, but with their potential? We spend so much energy trying to fix them or change them or mold them into the person we wish they were. But when you finally just let them be who they are, you can see the reality of the situation so much more clearly, and then you can make real choices for yourself.
When you start practicing this, it doesn't just change your day-to-day frustrations. It actually leads to this deep internal transformation. So let's talk about the incredible freedom you gain when you truly, finally, let go. Seriously, the payoff here is huge. Just imagine all the energy you're going to reclaim when you stop fighting these impossible battles. Your relationships can become so much more authentic because they're based on actually accepting people for who they are. And without the weight of all those unspoken expectations, resentment just starts to fade away.
You finally get the space to figure out your own needs and find a genuine sense of inner peace.
What's really happening here is a fundamental shift in where your happiness comes from. You stop outsourcing it to other people. No more thinking, I'll be happy if my partner gets more organized, or I'll finally be at peace when my friend takes my advice. Instead, you realize your happiness is your job. It comes from within you, and it doesn't depend on what anyone else does or doesn't do.
And this leads to an even more empowering step. Once you get the hang of let them, you can turn that focus right back on yourself. It becomes, okay, let them do what they're going to do, and let me do what I need to do. Let me rest. Let me set a boundary. Let me go after my own dreams. It's about taking back control over the one and only person you actually can control, yourself.
Now, this next part is really, really important. The let them theory is not some free pass for being passive. It's not an excuse to do nothing. There are absolutely critical times when you should not just let them.
So let's be crystal clear. First, in situations of real danger or discrimination, you have to step in. You don't let a friend drive drunk. You don't let someone discriminate against you, period. Second, when you need to advocate for yourself, you speak up. You don't just let an employer dictate your salary without a negotiation. And third, when someone repeatedly crosses a boundary you have clearly set, you hold that line. This whole theory is about releasing your need to control others, not surrendering your own safety, your own value, or your self-respect.
So, I'll leave you with this question to think about. Take a look at your life right now. All the little frustrations, the worries, the battles you're fighting day in and day out. What is just one thing, one person, one situation that you can choose to let them do this week? You'd be amazed. Dropping just that one or might be the first step to finding a whole new current of peace.